basketball when they've added Buddy Hield and replaced Clay. Buddy Hield is actually playing defense for like one of the first times in his career. He has.
I like Buddy Hield.
Dude, he has the motivation to play defense now, and he's always shot the ball so damn well. So I think that it's going to be. I think that addition's a lot bigger than what people give anything credit for.
Yeah.
My pick tonight is Warriors. I think they're going to hand. I think they're hand Cleveland the first losses.
What's up, man? How we doing?
How we doing?
Good.
It's been a week, man. Been a week.
Yeah, we got two of us. I know there's one more joining. Tommy's out. Trey's in Charlotte scouting places, so he probably forgot about us. You know, us little people here.
Man, shame on them.
Yep, exactly. They're missing out on all the fun, so is what it is. So
Awesome,
good, man. So if it's just two of us, this might we can get deeper in basketball talks.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm fresh off going to a women's game last night. I went to the Vanderbilt women's game against Arkansas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't know if I've been to a college women's game, but my friend just had an extra ticket. It was him and his son, so I just tagged along with them. I used to work with them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man, Vanderbilt women's is pretty good. Their coach was an assistant coach at UConn for 13 years under Oriema. So
oh wow,
she had them pressing and everything, and they were up like over 20 going into the second quarter.
Wow, second quarter?
Yeah, in the second quarter they were up over 20. Yeah,
they blitzed them.
Yeah, all out blitz.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know that I've ever been to a women's college game. Plenty of high school games.
When I played, I trained with this one girl. She played at Virginia, and then this other that played in the WNBA. And man, like their fundamentals and stuff are next level. What's up, Joey?
What's up, Gal?
Hey, you made it, man.
Yeah. I had to log in at Chad's desk and everything, and didn't recognize who I was, so I had to redo everything.
Yeah.
So
no worries. Yeah, I didn't. Joey's in the office, and if he wouldn't use my office, it would have kicked me off. And I was dealing with some stuff last minute. I'm like, dude, don't kick me off. So he had to change offices. Well, welcome. So we got Joey here.
Hey, Josh, how you doing?
Some of you may know him as Baby Broker, but Jay Money for this purpose.
Jay Money.
We invited him because he won last week, I think. Or were you 17-4 or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
That's for got to start betting on these games if you're doing all that.
I got lucky.
You got lucky. I don't know. You've been close.
Yeah.
I got to share that so that people can see it's real, So
that's pretty freaking good, man.
Yeah. You were 1 up over Nerf and I, 2 over Tommy and Trey, and Jay Lyles for 3. Had a tough week.
Yeah.
But, it happens.
It happens.
What do you
I
do?
can continue next week, right?
Well, man, I'm glad last night's games weren't part of it because the Lakers beating Boston. I don't care that it was at home. I mean, that's a pretty big win, pretty big upset.
Yeah.
The Blazers trumped Orlando in Orlando. I'm like, did not see that coming. By 22. Yeah, the Blazers. I mean, hey, Josh, name 2 players on the Blazers.
Scoot Henderson and Donovan Clingan.
Yep.
Did I get it?
You got a third?
Anthony Simons.
Yeah.
That might be all I got. That might be all. Do they have a Plumlee brother?
Not anymore, I don't think.
Not anymore. That's about all I got. I think those are the 3 that I got. Simons is their best player, isn't he?
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. I know Scoot really hasn't done a whole lot for them. I mean, honestly.
Joey, you're clearly a Blazers fan.
Yep.
Well, what do you have? I mean, you've got the platform here. What do you have to say about your Blazers? Give us the state of the Blazers.
Not well. We'll just go off of that. Not well.
What do Blazers fans have to be happy about right now?
1977. That's pretty much it.
1977.
Okay.
Man, I actually, so quick story. When I worked for Tesla in Atlanta, Clyde Drexler his number pops up on the phone to call inbound, and I like stop everybody in the office. I said, nobody pick that phone up. I got it. And so I pick it up, and then he calls in, and I didn't act like I knew who he was, but he's like, yeah, I want to come in and schedule a test drive with my wife. So I was like, sure, I'll get it scheduled. So got it scheduled with him. And this is when I had hair, but when I had hair, I used to get that I look like Steph a good amount. And
I could see that.
Yeah, I used to get it a pretty decent amount. And he's literally said this like 4 times throughout the drive. He only was calling me Steph throughout the test drive. It was so funny. And his wife finally, like the 3rd time, like hits him on the knee and is like, would you stop just calling him Steph and call him his actual name? It was good.
That's
But
funny.
yeah, he's
You
a
got to
legend.
send me a picture now with you. It's like a look-alike with you and Steph next to it.
I'll send you my old Halloween Steph costume.
There you
Dressed
go.
as Steph for
Perfect.
Halloween. Mouth guard, broken hand, had it all.
That's great, man. I can't say that I've ever been confused for an NBA player or looking like
There's got to be a
maybe
couple
team
out there.
manager or something like that.
No, there's got to be a couple out there.
Yeah. Well, we haven't seen him yet, so maybe if my kid makes it to the NBA, that'd be the closest hope. So not that I'm hoping that it or thinking he will, but you never know.
Never know.
But that's awesome. Blazers also have Jeremy Grant, so he's a big one that a lot of people know.
Mm.
That's kind of the guy that I think. I mean, what's he doing this year, Joey? Is he having a very good year?
I haven't fully started watching basketball, and if I do watch basketball, this is going to sound really bad, but I tend to not watch Trailblazer games.
No, I don't
Just
blame
know
you,
that
man.
it's a dumpster fire. I'd rather spend the time watching, big time teams. But
Yeah.
still love my Blazers. Got to represent, but end of the day, just not doing well.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I'm going through their roster right now, man, and their top player from last night, respectfully, have not heard of Tumani Kamara. But
I
that's
have
what's
not
awesome
either.
about this show. This was awesome about the show. Last week it was Tyrese Martin for the Nets.
Yeah.
This week it's Tumani Kamara for the Trailblazers. It is pretty wild to me though that looking at this lineup from top to bottom, there's so many guys I don't know, and how a team can get this many players that are not that good.
Yeah. Not known, but it also speaks to the crazy level of talent in the NBA, that on a given night, Tumani, whatever his name is, can be the guy.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just they don't know who he is, so they don't have a scouting report on him. And so, wait till game 2 and see if he can do. I always tell my kids when I'm coaching, I'm like, listen, everybody has a go-to move. Let's see if they have a counter.
That's a good point.
Don't let them beat you with the same move 5 times in a row.
Yep.
That's maddening as a coach or a player.
Everybody has their Linsanity game,
Right. Exactly. I'm gonna share the screen again so I can go season standings too. So since Trey's not here, he doesn't get his logo. So that means I'm gonna put
Trey.
my logo up.
Get the Broker Dude logo up there. Let's go.
But Trey's up 6 games over me, and then looks like 11 games over Tommy, and then 12 over Josh. Nerf there. Josh or Joey, you probably missed a week or so, is my guess. So
Yeah, I did.
yeah, came in late, but hanging in there. Made the show with the top score last week, so that's awesome.
All right, nice. I got a chance to catch Tommy if I have a good enough week next week. So we're about to dial it up. Got to catch Tommy.
All right. So Joey, since you're the guest on the show, what was your I know you wanted to do all your research and whatnot. So what research did you do? What's your thing you wanted to bring to the show? Put you on the spot out of the get-go.
I just more like sort of as an NBA insider, think that they should trade Steph, Desmond to the Rockets, and for shit ton of picks, shit ton of players, a lot of there's a list, and I thought that was kind of interesting. Would the Warriors do that to Steph?
No.
Being so loyal to advance the state into next, I don't know, couple years, or were they? I thought that was pretty interesting, like where the loyalty will be for Steph.
But that's tough though, because what do the Rockets give up? You can't give up too much, otherwise are you out of contention? I mean, I feel like if they were to do that, then is that you have to give up Jalen Green, who's your drafted cornerstone, but who else are you giving up? Van Vliet? I don't know. That's tough.
Yeah.
You'd have to get a lot of picks, but I feel like the teams that have the picks are the Thunder, and then who's the other team that's collecting picks?
Right now, Charlotte, but they don't have a lot.
Yeah, Thunder and Charlotte, I feel.
Yeah. I don't make that trade as either GM, honestly.
They have 5 players, 3 first-round swaps, and then 4 first-round picks.
I would say no, even if I'm Houston's GM, and I'm a big Steph fan, but I mean, maybe not. I mean, they are second place, I guess. They just still don't feel that they're going to be in contention when it comes down to it. I mean, I also have not watched Houston play enough, so I can't fully say that. But people are well, maybe I guess their best player is the Şengün guy, the big, not Jalen Green, as far as I remember. I haven't watched him enough, but I keep seeing that guy just fills the stat sheet. So maybe if they feel that they've got enough, but yeah, it'd have to be majority picks. So that's a lot of first round picks, but you're basically making the bet of, can we win the title this year or next year or both? If you're to make that trade, I feel like they shouldn't, because I think that they've got really good pieces. And if you're already in second in the West, then keep those picks, because if you're talking about long-term success, then yeah, I feel like the NBA is vulnerable right now. Like there's no, the Timberwolves kind of seem like they could be the team that sort of makes the run and gets there. But right now the Celtics seem like the only team to make some kind of like semi-dynasty type potential run with the amount of talent that they have. Other than that, there's not really any other teams out there. So I feel like if you're trying to position yourself for that, then Houston's in a good spot for that. Same with OKC.
Makes sense.
Yeah, sorry, the printer was running. I was hoping that wasn't making noise for you guys.
You guys still faxing loads over there? Is that what's going on?
I know, right?
Those Raycons in the back.
I think the kid printed something. I'm like, I muted it for a second, but it's literally right behind my screen. So in order to talk, I'm kind of screwed. So, but yeah, I think to your point, for me, Houston's playing really well. I don't think that's something that I mess up. I think they've overexceeded expectations this year, and they've got, I can never say his name, but what's the coach's name in Houston that was in Boston?
Ime Udoka.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good coach.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy when you look at Boston, the last 3 coaches they had with him and Brad Stevens before, and now Joe Mazzulla, man, they have hit something. Whether they're cultivating them internally, they're onto something. So,
yeah.
But yeah, going back to the Rockets, I'd say keep it together. Could you imagine the uproar for the Warriors though if they actually tried to trade Steph or did trade him?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. So
I don't see it happening. I mean, I feel like they could still just move some of the other guys that they've got. Kuminga, shoot, even Draymond. Like if you can get something, there's probably one of those contention teams that would be open to getting a guy like Draymond that's just got championship pedigree. Hard-nosed on defense, not going to let teammates slack off on defense, and that's a lot of times what you need. So why not look at trying to make moves like that, before just getting rid of Steph? I don't know, man. I don't know. Where does Jimmy Butler go? Have we figured out an answer on this yet?
No, that one, but they got to do something fast, man. I mean, I know the trade deadline's 2 weeks roughly, the 6th. So, but and I think a lot of it is they just tired of his stuff because it's stuff he was doing before, traveling on his own, doing his own charters, those kind of things. But, the fact that he's not producing now, it's like he can't really, put up with his additional stuff because of those facts. So, but what did I see? I think I saw something that it may take up to 5 teams to make a trade, which is nuts.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a sixth of the league right there just to make a move.
Yeah.
Didn't he come out and say that he didn't want to be traded to a team like yesterday?
No, I think he's still trying to be traded.
Oh yeah, he wants it.
He just got suspended in it. He was suspended 7 games and then just got suspended an additional 2 because he missed the flight or took a separate flight to I think it was Minneapolis or somewhere for an away game.
He said he doesn't want to be traded to Memphis, but he'll finish his career wherever he goes.
He said no to Memphis?
Yeah. No Memphis.
Really?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Which is wow.
I actually feel like that can make sense for both teams if Memphis would offload Desmond Bane. That's interesting. I did see a clip this morning. It was on Inside the NBA, and it was basically Shaq, Kenny, and Chuck just going at each other about this whole Jimmy Butler situation. It was pretty funny because they're all getting really into it. And I feel like Shaq definitely lost the argument because he's just saying that, look, it's from the business side. So if you don't want me, get rid of me, that kind of deal. And then, Chuck and Kenny are kind of making the point of, dude, you're getting paid $40-50 million a year. Your contract's not up till the end of next year. So you have a year and a half, 2 years left of your contract. And you're just basically not cooperating. Like, in what world can you just do that when you're getting paid that much money? And that's the only thing that I will say. I kind of agree with Chuck and Kenny on that, man, is these guys that, and even the Jamar Chase situation in the NFL was kind of annoying when you still have a whole year left of your contract left. And I get like you want to get paid more, and good for him because that worked out super well in his favor on the NFL side. It was the opposite for Dennis Schroeder, when he was with the Lakers and he lost, I forget, it was 60, 70 million, something like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, it is a little frustrating. And I feel like if I was a team, I don't know if Jimmy would be a guy I want if that's what's happening.
No, I mean, unless you feel like you're just going to get a couple years and it puts you in a better position than you currently are. And that's not the case for a lot of teams. But, if you're looking at it just from a pure fill, let's say you're a mid team and you could fill the stands and sell out games, what's that worth to you? I don't know the numbers of those situations, but I know a full crowd sure makes a big difference on how the teams play and the excitement around the team, the marketing around the team, and obviously that all leads to dollars and cents, which the NBA is a business at the end of the day. And I was just reading, they actually talked about the Bulls being involved and taking on Bradley Beal in an article. So that was kind of interesting.
Where's Tommy?
Where's Tommy? Yeah,
Tommy. I have a feeling Tommy would hate that.
Oh, I know, right?
An old Bradley Beal is the selection that you end up going with.
Yeah, and then they get the Bucks involved. So yeah, it's going to take a huge trade. It's probably going to come down a couple days before the deadline. What else can they do? So, yeah, sweet. So what about? I think SGA dropped 54 the other night. Pretty nice.
Yeah, he even said he felt like he could play. But that guy's just next level.
I know. He's definitely the next guy, like just the face of the league. Just watching him, I don't care who's guarding him. He can get to the hole.
Does not matter.
No, and it's just like,
yeah,
that's hard to do, man. If you've ever played, it's like, if a guy has 3, 4, 5 moves, it's like, what do you guard?
Yeah, he's one of those players where he's never worried about the guy in front of him. He's worried about the help defense, and he's just going to play based on whatever happens with the help defense. And I mean, yeah, he just can score at all three levels. Gets to the foul line, can absorb contact. I mean, obviously not the biggest, strongest dude, but he's plenty strong because he's not afraid of contact.
Yeah,
yeah, it's and he literally is just getting better. I mean, that's No, it's not. It's who were we just talking about the one guy had his one Kamara, whatever his name is for the Trailblazers, has his one game. I mean, everybody's got the tape on SGA, and he just keeps getting better and better and better.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
they did lose though to the Mavs recently. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah, and the Mavs are banged up right now.
Yeah. SGA dropped 31 in that game, so it wasn't like he had a bad game.
Yeah, it's an average game for that guy.
Yeah. And the Mavs, Spencer Dinwiddie that guy still can put up some points. He was their leading scorer, 28 points. Kyrie with 24, PJ with 22. So.
Yeah, I saw a report that the Mavs are trying to get rid of Gafford. I know I think Lively's hurt until the playoffs, which definitely sucks for them. But so they may need to keep Gafford now. But yeah, it seemed like that they were trying to make a move, getting rid of him.
Yeah, I've heard his name quite a bit come up. So, I mean, I think we're gonna have a busy next 2 weeks. So, with the trade deadline coming up, but
yeah. Is it before or after All-Star weekend?
Before, because I think the All-Star game is the mid of the month, and the 6th is the trade deadline. So quick Google search would tell us that, right? So one of the things I would chat about too was the Cavs. They dropped a couple games, and I was watching the breakdown on that game with Houston, and it was kind of crazy how it all. They had the lead for a couple minutes to go, and then actually had a chance to tie it. And Darius Garland missed 2 free throws. I think he was actually fouled on the 3-pointer, and he would have had to make all 3 to tie it. And he missed 2 out of the 3, and he's a 90% free throw shooter on the year. So it was just kind of a perfect storm for them to not win that game. But I was like, damn, that's kind of crazy. So, but.
Yeah, clutch free throw shooting is different.
Yeah.
Percentages go out of the way for that stuff.
Isn't it crazy? I mean, it's so true. So true.
Yeah, you can't mimic that in practice, really.
No. That's, it's like I always go back to coaching the little guys, but it's like we, to your point of coaching and mimicking that, we're getting to the point where we're competitive with the top teams now. But what I saw, we had the lead at halftime the other day. We were tied going in the 4th quarter. And we have 4 or 5 set plays that we run. And I was explaining to the kids after the game, I said, listen, I'm going to call a play based on what I see the defense doing. And they just lost all ability to think and just started driving and trying to, be playing hero ball. And I'm like, yeah, that's a great lesson for you guys, because it's like, I'm not going to give you a play that I think is not going to put us in a situation that's best for us. And so it's just a learning process and trying to mimic that in practice, because the guy the other night, we had practice last night, and he's like, we started to get tired, and you could see it. I said, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to exhaust them and then put them in mental situations, because that's the closest thing I can get to when they're exhausted, still coaching them, still getting them to adjust in practice, and then referring to that so they understand why we want to run certain sets at a certain time. And, but there's the thing I love about basketball. Yes, it's a physical sport, but there's so much mental,
tons.
It's just like your basketball IQ. If you have that, you can play anywhere as long as you have a decent game, right? You can see the game, you can feel the game, especially in like a structured setting. Pickup ball is a little bit different because it's just like we're just going to feed the guy. We're not running sets, but when it's truly team basketball and there's refs and it just changes everything because it's chess at that point, and you're just moving pieces in order to get that, have more at the end. That's why I always tell the guys, I go, I don't care if we don't lead the whole game as long as we win. You know,
doesn't matter.
So, but that's what I love about basketball. One of the many things, things.
Same here. Yeah, basketball is what really got me to kind of work on my mental toughness for sure.
Yeah,
something that I wish I was stronger at. I feel like work ethic was always my best thing that I had, but the mental toughness piece definitely, like, I needed that more when I played and when I walked on. So like, yeah, most of the books and stuff that I consume now at this point are all around just like mentality and just obsessed with it. But because it makes a huge difference, business too, everything.
So let's talk about technical fouls because I got a story, but I first want to ask you a question. How did you get many techs playing?
No, I'm trying to even think of like. No, not. I don't think I did. It's pretty well behaved for the most part. I mean, of course, like, you get frustrated at the refs every now and then, but never one of those players that. I always liked Carmelo Anthony in that aspect because Carmelo just played. Carmelo got banged up so much playing. He was such a physical player, but he was not like, the thing I always respect about his game is like he just didn't complain, and he's just like next play mentality. You're gonna get calls, you're gonna lose calls, and I think that's the way I thought about it. But yeah, no Draymond antics over here. you guys got some?
So we had a game Sunday morning, 9:00 game. I think we're about 4 minutes in the game, and I got a tech as the coach. But I knew I was going to get it because I was defending my player. So our little quick guard got 2 fouls called in the first 2 minutes, and they were fouls, but they weren't on him. And so I told the ref, I go, hey, it wasn't on him. He's like, oh, here we go. And I'm like, what do you mean here we go? He's like, well, what do you want me to do? I go, that kid's saying the foul's on him. I just don't want him to be penalized.
Right.
And he's like, well, I'm like, fine, whatever. So then a minute later, our guy commits a foul. They won with 2 fouls. And I go, no, that was a foul on him. Instantly teed me up.
Really?
Yeah. The guy had a quick trigger. He was pretty sensitive from the tip. But then later in that game, so I don't know if you know this as a coach, if you get a technical, you have to sit down the whole game. So you can't stand. So, I'm sitting there, I'm fine. It was good, whatever. So we're up 6 with a minute to go, and they got a breakaway, and our kid fouls them. In my opinion, good foul because it was a breakaway, and he didn't score. So their kid says, chill. Our kid says, chill. And I didn't see any of this because it was down underneath the other basket, and I was seeing the ref come to us. And then there was a little bit of pushing and stuff. And then the other coach is like, hey, to the ref. And, he was at the bench. He's like, I didn't see it. It wasn't in my area, and he wouldn't let it go. So he gave him a tech, and then he still wouldn't let it go. And he said, coach, stop. And he wouldn't stop. And he gave him a second tech and kicked him out of the game with a minute to go. This is 6th grade basketball. And the guy wasn't being crazy yelling at him. He's just trying to have a conversation, but they did not want to have any conversations about anything. So
that's so lame.
Yeah.
That's the reason why they ref 6th grade.
I know.
That's funny.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't believe when the guy's like, oh, here we go. And I'm like, what do you mean here we go?
Okay. Yeah. But also it sucks for the kid. The kid's trying to play basketball. And so if he gets a 2,000, one of them's not on him.
Both the first 2 weren't on him.
Yeah, and if it's in the first quarter, you have to pull him.
Yeah.
So yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. So I sat him down. I said, hey, I took that tech for you because it was BS. I said, I know you didn't commit those first 2 fouls, and I had to as a coach, I'm going to defend you as my player if I think you're right. So it was just kind of funny. But I talked to the guy that runs the league. I know him well, and he's like, yeah, did he really deserve to be kicked out? And I'm like, No, so they were. I mean, for me to get a tech at this point in my life, 2 minutes into a game is a lot. You know, I think I've had probably 3 or 4 as a coach. I remember my first one. I was coaching my oldest. He's now 20. He was 5th or 6th grade, and we were really close game, trying to upset a team we'd never beat. And you hear this, and he airballs it from like 8 feet, like misses the backboard, everything. And, you know, so the ref runs down. I make sure I make eye contact. I go, it's funny, you're the only one in the gym that didn't hear that noise. But it was the game, because it was like 45 seconds. And if we made that shot, you know, I think it would have been like a 4-point game or something like that. But the fact they went down and scored, and but it's like, I go, the kid does an airball from 8 feet and miss the whole back.
Yeah, come on.
You know, it's like, so there's a couple times that I've done it intentionally just to, you know,
Yeah,
you
have to.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. But then, since we're talking about Tex, we in our high school game, so Ian didn't play because he's, you know, sprained his ankle, but the other team out of Tech, and this is like the power of a Tech in a game, right? It swings momentum one way or the other. So we're down 54-51 on the road, and the guy throws the ball at our guy in the back, instantly gets teed up. So, you know, we have a chance being down by 3. If we can make the 2 free throws, we get the ball. It's like, that's momentum. So we miss both free throws and we don't take advantage of the extra possession. And it's like the game was over at that point because there was like 4 minutes to go. It's just like but, you know, it's just like that momentum swing. You're like, yes, you know, hit these free throws.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of crazy. All right, enough about Tex. No Draymond antics, but I'll get one occasionally as a coach.
Yeah, but still, if you're not, you know, cussing up a storm and stuff, like, they shouldn't be calling Tex.
Yeah,
come on, man. Not 6th grade, not 6th grade basketball.
I know, right? Well, then the other ref, like after they gave I don't remember, it might have been before actually. He's like, "Hey, coaches, come here," and we're like, "What?" He's like, "You know, in high school they have to wear the same undershirt color, and so it's really confusing out here because all these kids got different color undershirts." I said, "Well, you can have them take them off. It's fine." No, it's fine. Well, actually, when they come out, have them take them off. And I'm like, why do you stop a game? It's like, as a ref, if you have a problem, you know,
just get it done.
Address it before or at a timeout or whatever. Literally stop the game.
It's so funny.
I'm like, this guy, you know, it's just funny. They don't. What that tells me is they never played the game and they've never been involved at a competitive level to understand how a flow of a game is important. You know, they're not the most important person. But.
Yeah. No, I mean, at that level, it's a lot of them just don't care. You know, it's probably a side job for a lot of them. And
yeah, $20 a game, whatever it is, it's pretty decent.
Yeah, and so for them, they're just like, okay, cool. They're not gonna take it ultra serious.
No,
it's tough.
Yeah. Yep. All right, so let's talk about standings real quick. So Cavs are still up. I mean, they're running away with the East. Really, they're up 6 games. Same thing in the West. Thunder are up 6.5. But man, after on the West, from 2nd all the way down to 12th, it's only 8.5 games.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Yeah, it's.
You know what surprised me is where the Lakers are. They're 5th.
They've weathered the storm.
You know, I'm like
LeBron James.
Yeah, I'm like, they're 5th. What? Now they're barely clinging on to 5th because they're tied with the Clippers, and then you got 12 a game and a half. I mean, so 3-game losing streak, and you're all the way down to 11th or something. But 3-game winning streak, and now you got a bigger lead. So, so who's your guys' like team to make a run in the second half? You got one?
Who you got, Joey?
I'm looking at it right now. I'm surprised Suns are in 10th right now.
That's Josh's team that needs to make a run.
Yeah, that's. My nephew's probably watching, and he's a big Suns fan, so I'm going to say the Suns make him happy.
Yeah. What about in the East?
There's 2 votes for the Suns.
Yep. You got anybody in the East, Joey?
No. Yeah, no. I think everyone's in the East is pretty much where I think they should be. Yeah, I'm not surprised with the East at all.
Yeah. I think the Pistons are going to make a run, get in the top 4 or 5, because they're playing pretty well. They're 6th right now, so to get to 4th, they'd have to climb 3 games in the standings. They'd have to pass the Pacers and the Bucks, so it might be tough, but they're playing well.
Cade Cunningham, man, he's an all-star.
Yeah,
no doubt. I mean, that guy's a stud. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the one team. I mean, I think down the stretch, a team that's just going to be really tough. Obviously, the Cavs are up there, but I do think the Knicks. I think the Knicks are going to be just super tough because of all the pieces that they have, and really just dependent upon how they can, if they can stay not super banged up. I think Boston's had a little bit of a challenge with injuries and stuff with KP and all that stuff. But man, I mean, just a historically terrible trade for the Timberwolves, getting rid of Cat for Julius Randle, man, just terrible. I feel like the Pistons will stay sort of where they are, just because like
who's in front of them?
Yeah, who's in front of them? Cade can. I mean, man, I think I hate to say overachieving, but to be 23 and 21 after what they just went through last year is pretty incredible. So huge kudos to Cade on that. I think the Magic are the one team that can climb because I think they're the team that can be better than the Pacers. Mm-hmm. And I also think that they could give the Bucks a run pretty easily in the playoffs in the East. And then
I hope not.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, for the West, I feel like the one team that can make a run is the Mavs, because the Mavs, for them, I think it's health, and you've got Luka and Kyrie. I mean, arguably best backcourt, probably. I mean, the best backcourt in the league. Younger guys around them that are only getting better, with PJ and Lively, and again, Lively's got to get healthy, Luka's got to get healthy. So for them sitting at 24 and 21 for shakeups that they've had, they made it to the finals last year. Yeah, they can make that run again.
Yeah, I could see that. You picked my 2 teams that I said were going to be in the finals when you and I chatted months ago.
Yeah.
Knicks are playing well, but man, the Mavs have totally underachieved. But they've had a lot of issues with Luka, and the hard thing is you don't want to have such a bad postseason that you have to go on the road every series.
Right?
That home court advantage is huge in the playoffs. If it's evenly matched, it's like that home court can sway that series, pretty easily. So if they can get up that, top 3 or 4, that'd be huge. Another one that I think out west that needs to make a run is the Wolves. They just haven't put it together this year. And I think it goes back to that trade you just mentioned. Is that trade was a big loser for them.
Huge loser.
You give up Cat, you get Julius Randle and Dante, but it has not come to fruition for those guys for whatever reason.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to matter how good Ant plays. West is just too deep, too tough, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have no idea what their organization was thinking with that.
And especially the timing of it, because it was literally like right before the season.
Yeah.
It was like, that's the weirdest trade I think I've seen in a long time, as far as the value of the trade and the timing of it. And it was almost like it was a panic trade.
Yeah, you're just scratching your head when you see the trade. It's not even from what's happened, just like from the onset.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Julius Randle goes down and those guys make the conference finals.
Right.
To me, like, that says something in itself, right? Fairly banged up team too, but again, just ball stopper, pretty bad attitude, hasn't done anything. You let Brunson just go beat Brunson and drop 40 in the playoffs, and they're able to get to the conference finals. So that clearly to me says you don't actually need that specific piece, which they got rid of him. And, they obviously made the right play to supplement, I think, Brunson really well.
Mm-hmm.
But man, oh man, just like, why? I don't know. I'd be frustrated if I was Ant.
Yeah, I think he is. I think you've seen it with some of his. What's he been fined, like $285,000 this year? I want to see that real quick.
Yeah, just stupid interviews, just no filter on his mouth, and it's been that way for a decent amount of these players. But they kind of have to expect it.
Yeah,
I hate to say it, like I'm all for not the stupid like times where those guys get fined and being against that, but some of the ones you watch them, like him and LaMelo Ball, when they're just like literally zero filter dropping F-bombs and stuff, like come on, man,
yeah,
a lot of kids watching all that stuff.
mm-hmm.
I mean, I think if you're on like the other shows and stuff, that's all good, but post-game interviews, just like
you got to keep it PC.
Slight bit of class.
Yeah, he's been fined $285,000 this season, which is crazy. 35, 25. Yeah, let's see. Obscene gesture, profane language, obscene gestures. So it's like you can't control yourself enough to not, flip the bird or use, the language. It's like maybe somebody on his team needs to say, like maybe we shouldn't interview Ant.
Yeah.
Let's not put a mic in his face right after the game when he's pissed, something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he'll get in better shape with that, but it's not good.
I think a lot of it for him is, he coming off the Olympics, he learned a ton of what it took to be successful, and he was hoping that was going to, pay dividends this year. And, this is just my take, but it really hasn't translated to the court because of the other dynamics with the trades and whatnot. And, as a player, it's like, man, I'm doing everything I can. I'm showing up ready. And we're all human and we all make mistakes. So that frustration just starts to boil over.
Yeah. I think he's done a good job of weathering the whole trades and obviously the frustration and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to say the right things publicly, at least for the most part, of how he's handling that and just trying to be a leader. But yeah, I mean, it's an area of opportunity for him, no doubt. I'm checking out some stats here. So it's easy to say, I think, from the surface that from an MVP standpoint, people think it's going to be SGA.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking at the stats right now, man, and not that stats are everything, but Nikola Jokic is third in points at 30 points a game, 30.2.
Mm-hmm.
He's second in assists at 10.1, which is just stupid. He's third in rebounds at 13.4, and he's fourth in steals.
Yeah.
And he's a big.
And he's number one in 3-point percentage too.
Is he really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I was looking at stats a couple of days ago, and I'm like, I know he's been MVP. What is it? 3 times already?
I want to say he's 3 times now. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, even so, it's like to put the numbers. Did you see was it last night when he hit that full court shot that he threw and he just
just
no big deal. Bench. Yeah, it's like he expected to make it.
That's ridiculous, man. Yeah, he's got 3 MVPs.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if they'll give it to him. I think a lot of it's going to depend on if they make a run. Because it seems to be the best player on the best team historically.
It's just hard. It's just hard to argue though the value of that guy because I mean I can only imagine if he was. I feel that Denver would significantly be just out of the playoffs compared to I believe the Thunder are still an MVP, still a playoff team without Shea. I could be totally wrong on that, but I don't know. Crazy stuff.
I'm gonna look up his plus minus because I remember there was a game I was watching early in the season, and it was against the Warriors, and it was like minus 17 with him off the court, and and plus 19 with him on the court. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Why is that not bringing up plus minus?
I
Oh, it's
do
total
got-
plus minus for the year is 395, but it doesn't give it per game, at least on StatMuse. Let's see advanced stats here.
I gotta hop here, guys. I'm right at time. I gotta do
Cool.
a couple quick things.
Well, we can wrap it up. You guys will have to run it without me next week, so I'll send you guys a chat because I'm going to be on a plane to Vegas. So
Sweet. Well, enjoy,
awesome,
man.
Thanks for
Have
joining,
some
Joey.
fun out there.
Yeah, thank you
Yep.
guys.
And
Yeah, good to see you, Joey.
Yeah,
See you next week, or see you in a couple weeks for me.
Sounds good.